Okay guys, we're going to start a unit on volume, but first we have to review a little bit on how to find the area of different figures. So any of these with a square, rectangular, or parallelogram is just area equals base times height. Triangle is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. And a circle is pi r squared. I would just advise you to make sure you have those formulas available. They'll be on in the front of the room on the board for a long time. All right, so how do we know which length is the base and the height of our figure? So this is just the side edges, so they are always connected at a right angle. So that right angle, we did this a little bit earlier in the year, so they have to be connected at the right angle. So for this one, we've got the parallelogram. We're not going to use the slant. So my area is just, they're connected at the 90, so it is just 4 times 6, which is 24 centimeters squared. This one, it's a triangle. It's just going to be 1/2 8 times 15. So 4 times 15, which is going to be 60 feet squared. This guy, all right, you're going to have to use a little Pythagorean Theorem to figure out what this is. Okay, so if we do 3 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared, you should be able to get x is equal to 4 for that. All right, so that you could find the area of both of these individual triangles and add them together, or you can just do the entire base. So this is a triangle, so it would be 1/2 the entire base, which would be 10, times 4. Half of 10 is 5, 4, so this would be 20 units squared. Okay, number 4 here, the area of a circle, area is equal to pi r squared, so it would be pi times 12 squared. And so 12 squared is 144. I know before we did terms of pi, so this would be 144 pi. So that would be the exact answer. You could always plug it into your calculator too if it says round to the nearest tenth or something. Khan Academy might use that at some point. So it'd be area equals 452.4. 52.4 centimeters squared. So anything that's two-dimensional for area is going to have square units. As we move on for volume, we're going to ask ourselves 2 questions. Okay, so we are going to ask, does the shape, does it meet at a point, or 2 bases? Do we have 2 bases, or does it meet at a point? That's the first one. And this, what is my base? What is the base? Or how do I find the area of the base? The key for this, there can be 1 or 2 bases of an object. If there's a point, it is, if there is 1, it is opposite the point. If there are 2 bases, they are parallel. So that's the key. That's pretty much the first question I'll always ask you is, hey, do I have 2 parallel bases? If you answer that question with a yes, then you do not have a point. If there aren't 2 parallel bases that will never cross, then you would have a point. In class, so I found something to interact with, because normally I would have a object that you could visibly see. So for this one that does not meet at a point, I'm going to bring up a version that I can interact with. So this, you need to ask yourself, are there 2 shapes that are completely parallel, meaning they will never cross? So I have 2 different sets of shapes. I've got rectangles and I have triangles. So another way of asking if they're parallel is saying, hey, are they opposite of each other? So all of these rectangles will cross another rectangle at some point. They meet together at that edge, meet together at that edge, all that stuff. If I look at the triangles, this triangle never touches this other triangle. They are completely opposite and parallel. Okay, so I would say that has a set of parallel sides. Okay, so for this one, it's kind of hard to see, but I would have another triangle back here. Okay, base does not always mean bottom. Base means parallel or opposite the point, depending on those things. So we have two different equations here. Big B means the area of the base. Area of base. So depending on the base, whatever that is, that formula can kind of change. So it can look like pi r squared if it's a circle, if it's a triangle, 1/2 base times height. So here I'm going to identify what my base is. So my base here, the two that are parallel, is a triangle. And the height, so the height of the prism, not the height of the triangle, height of the prism, this always connects the bases at right angle. Okay, so the one that connects the two triangles, so the base triangles, is the 13 centimeters. So to find the entire volume, which is what you would put in your calculator, I need to find the area of the base. So in this case, it would be 1/2 since it's a triangle. My base, which is 12. My height, which is 11. Okay, so that finds the area of the base, but now I need to fill the rest of it up. Okay, I need to connect the two bases. So I need to do that times 13, which would give me 858 centimeters cubed. So finding volume is cubed units because it's three-dimensional, so I need to multiply three numbers together. All right, for this next one, if I'm looking at, hey, do I have two parallel bases? Well, I see a circle here, but there's not another one that's parallel to it. So this is one that would meet at a point. So if you notice here, it meets at a specific point for all of those. This means we're going to have to take 1/3 of it. Okay, so if you picture a cylinder, like if you put this inside of a cylinder, there would be exactly 3 of these cones that would fit into that cylinder going around there. All right, so my base here is a circle. My height is still perpendicular, so this would be 8 centimeters. Notice, right angle, boom. Here, this would also be a right angle for the prism. All right, so since it is a circle, my volume, and it meets at a point, is going to be 1/3. Now my area of a circle is pi times 5 squared. So that's the area of my circle, but now I need to multiply that by the height of my prism. So that would be times 8. Okay, this is what I would like to see. All right, we'll be doing things in boxes here later. You can multiply this stuff together and then divide by 3, or you can multiply by 1/3. It means the exact same thing. So you can use your pi button. 5 squared times 8 would give you 209.4 centimeters cubed. Okay, if we move along on the back, what is the equation for volume? That's two bases, so volume equals area of the base, big B, times the height of the prism. Meets at a point, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. How do you know what number is the height? These are perpendicular. Perpendicular. Which means you're looking for that 90-degree angle. Boom. Okay, so first question for any of these. Do I have two parallel bases or does it meet at a point? One of those two options. Parallel means they don't cross. So this one, I got circle here, parallel to this circle. So this is one that we'd have parallel bases, so I'd use volume equals area of the base times the height. Down here in the box, I just want you to put what you're going to put in your calculator. All right. So for this, my base is going to be a circle, so I have to use pi r squared. So I'm going to do pi times radius squared. Since this 8, do you see how that line goes all the way through? That's talking to the diameter. So if I need the radius would be 4 squared times the height. Now, this height here is a slant. So think of like finding the depth of a swimming pool, right? You're not going to do a diagonal depth or like the height of you. But if you notice, this makes a wonderful, wonderful right triangle for that. So to figure out that height, I can always use my boy Pythagoras. Okay, so I could do x squared plus 8 squared equals 30 squared. Subtract it over. 30 squared minus 8 squared, 30 squared minus 8 squared, 836 square root should give me 28.9. X equals 28.9. And so then area of the base would be pi r squared times the height of the prism. So this would be 28.9 and should meet at a 90-degree angle. Then you can plug that all into your calculator to get times 28.9, 1452.7 feet cubed. You will get some bigger numbers, so do not be alarmed. Okay. For the second one, for number 2, ask yourself, do I have 2 parallel bases? Well, I've got these triangles, but they all connect, they all cross. I've got this rectangle. Hey, I don't have 2, but this is telling me since I only have one of them, it meets at a point. So I have to take 1/3 area of the base times the height. So then I need to ask myself, what's the base? So with this, it's opposite the point. My base here is a rectangle. To find that would be 17 times 5, base times height. Then I need to multiply all of that by the height of the pyramid. So it's like we're filling that bottom part with water. And then we're like, well, what's the depth? How high do I need to fill it? So times 13. Plug that all straight in your calculator. 17 times 5 times 13. Should get 368.3. Would be your total. This box down here just helps us know what you put in your calculator, because if you don't show that, we literally cannot help you. Okay, I'm going to do one more here, and then I'm going to see if you guys can do some of these on your own. So this guy here, does it meet at a point, or do I have 2 parallel bases? I see a circle, no other circle. It does meet at a point, so this means I'm going to have to go 1/3. 1/3 area of the base times the height. Okay, so my base here is a circle. So I'd have to do pi r squared, pi. Now the whole thing is 15. I need the radius, which is 7.5. So times 7.5 squared times the height. Now, be aware of the slant, the fearless slant, aka the hypotenuse. Okay, so this down here is 7.5. I need to find that height. So I'd do x squared plus 7.5 squared equals 26 squared. Whenever you solve for the height, you're going to subtract that, find the square root. You should get 24.9 for the x. X equals 24.9, which is the height. So that times 24.9. And you should get 1/3 pi 7.5 squared times 24.9. You should get something like 1466.7 feet cubed. All right, I'm going to have you guys try number 4. Okay, this one you have multiple parallel bases, so you could have your choice. But this is just length times width times height. It's just your regular prism. So as long as you're multiplying all those together, you should get 87.88. Go ahead and try number 5. Okay, this guy meets at a point. There's only one circle. They are not parallel. So I have to take 1/3. Base is a circle, so it would be pi r squared times the height, which is 9. You should get 235.6. Go ahead and try number 6. Hey, this guy is a little trickier. This 30 you can move over here. So ask yourself, do I have 2 parallel bases or a point? So this one, there's 2 that are parallel, the triangles. So my area is going to be of the triangle. Volume equals 1/2 base times height. So you can move the 30 over, use Pythagorean Theorem to get 24. Okay, base and height always connected at the 90. That's why I use 18 and 24. And then your height of the figure or of the prism connects the 2 bases. So 26 connects triangle to triangle. It would fill it up with water, like if we had to tilt it over, which is why I have this down here. Area of the base times the height would give me that. All right, we will do 7 and 8 yet. Okay. Pythagorean Theorem again gives me my 16 because 34 is a slant. Okay, I am using 1/3 because it meets at a point. 1/3 pi r squared gives me the area of the circle times the height, which is 30. Go ahead and try number 8. All right, I'm going to use the 10 as the diameter. 1/3 meets at a point. I do not have parallel bases. Pi 5 squared times 7, which would be the height. Alrighty, let's do number 9. Okay, I'm just going to use volume equals area of the base times the height. I have 2 triangles. That would be, it's kind of hard to see here. Really, this should be like that. Okay, 2 triangles that would be opposite of each other. They would be parallel. Area of the base, so 1/2 5 times 12 because they meet at the 90. Then I have to fill it up by multiplying by 16. All right, and then try the last one. Alrighty, so meets at a point, so 1/3. This is the diameter, so I need the radius, so 10 squared times pi. Then you'd fill it up. Make sure we use Pythagorean Theorem. The biggest thing, guys, if you have a slant, make sure you use Pythagorean Theorem. Times 24 should give you this up here at the top, 2513.3. And then I'll have you guys do these on your own.